into the diagnostic indicators up here. So my book, Foundations. What I did in Foundations, and the reason it's called Foundations, is I wrote and described what this pathology is in great detail and comprehensively, using only standard and established constructs and principles. Every time I refer to the word parental alienation, I always put it in quotes, because I don't, as a clinical psychologist, parental alienation doesn't exist. Personality pathology exists, attachment pathology exists, complex trauma exists, cross-generational coalition. I know what all of that stuff is. Parental alienation is a popular culture term that and I don't care, everybody else can use that phrase to kind of capture the complex nature of the pathology, the legal system, and people in the general population. For us as clinical psychologists, though, we need to stop using that word and go back to standard and established stuff. And so in the Foundations, I lay out what the pathology is, describe it in detail, leading to a set of 3 diagnostic indicators, those retractable claws, that will always show up with this particular type of pathology, cross-generational coalition with a narcissistic borderline parent, and will show up in no other pathology. No other pathology in all of mental health will produce this set of 3 symptoms. The first one is attachment system suppression toward a normal range parent. The child is rejecting a normal range parent. It's really weird. Now we're in attachment pathology, and that says there's pathogenic parenting somewhere. Second symptom is a set of 5 narcissistic personality traits in the child's symptom display. The child is showing 5 specific narcissistic symptoms: grandiose judging of the parent, a sense of entitlement, the parent's supposed to meet my needs, an absence of empathy for the parent, haughty and arrogant attitude towards the parent, and a splitting, a demonization of the parent. I call these the psychological fingerprints of control on the child by a narcissistic parent. We cannot control a child without leaving fingerprints of that control. And so that second symptom are the fingerprints. How does a child acquire narcissistic personality traits? Is that child narcissistic? No. It's because the parent is narcissistic, influencing the child, and it's the child is picking up the attitudes of this parent towards the other parent, the absence of empathy towards the other spouse, the haughty and arrogant attitude towards the other spouse. So that's the second symptom. Third symptom is that victimization symptom, that trauma reenactment, false one. That the child has a fixed and false belief that they are being victimized by the normal range parenting of the targeted parent. That it's abusive. I'm being victimized because my dad took my iPhone away. And it's a fixed and false belief. In psychology, a fixed and false belief is a delusion. And the belief that you are being victimized is a persecutory delusion. That it affects only one area of the child's life is called an encapsulated persecutory delusion. The child is showing an encapsulated persecutory delusion. Where is that child getting that from? The narcissistic borderline parent who believes this false narrative of victimized child. And so the child is acquiring this encapsulated persecutory delusion from the other parent. So we are essentially lifting the fingerprints of the pathogenic parenting from off of the child's symptom display. No other pathology, even authentic child abuse, will not show this set of symptoms. Child doesn't have a haughty and arrogant attitude towards their abuser. They don't have a sense of entitlement towards their abuser. No, authentic child abuse doesn't show these sets of symptoms. So we have 3 symptoms. We'll always define it. When you have a child who is this pathogenic parenting, pathopathology, genesis creation. So a parent who is creating pathology in the child, they are creating developmental pathology, suppression of normal range attachment bonding motivations where the child's losing a parent. Narcissistic personality traits, they are creating a personality disorder in their child. And a psychiatric delusion in the child. When you have a parent creating that level of pathology in the child, the DSM-5 diagnosis for that is V995.51 child psychological abuse. And so right now in my practice, if I get this, that's the diagnosis. Child psychological